chair. Hey, we're live on the Mama Knows Best show here at Mama Knows Best radio station, and we've got our interview today. It's Angel from TAP.
Hey.
Angel is doing amazing work. The TAP, the organization, is doing absolutely amazing work, and it's lovely to talk about good news in the community. And we're talking about tech and getting women into tech. And you've started a project, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. Want to start?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Definitely.
So basically, in partnership with UK Fast, brainchild of Patricia Keating and Leon Robinson, basically they work there, and Otis must have gone to a meeting several months ago and spoke to them about what they were doing to represent BAME, or Black people in particular. And then Patricia called Otis and I back in, and we had a really cool meeting, and we discussed ways in which we could potentially support that. And then a cool funding pot came up, Fast Track Digital Skills, and we came together as a consortium with another partner called Natalie Jameson from an organisation called Hero Works, and we put together a consortium bid.
There you go.
And this is where we are now.
We're going to get into it totally live on the radio. So if you're with us, you can join in live on Mama Knows Best by downloading the app, Legacy 90.1 on the App Store, and then you could hear everything, no matter where you are in the world. So join the Mama Knows Best show. We're live. We're doing live, all live. It's all good. YouTube live, our YouTube hour, definitely. And today we were talking about gold digging.
Yeah, I was watching the show last night. There's actually something on BBC One last night. I think it was a 6-part series.
About what?
About a male gold digger.
Gold digger.
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, wow.
I didn't manage to watch all of it, but I watched some of it last week, and was definitely enthralled.
Okay, I'm going to get your mic levels, okay? So, because we're going to come on live on the radio at the moment. So
we were live there.
We're live everywhere, baby girl. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Keep going.
1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
How are you doing today?
I'm not too well. Yeah, I'm all right. Recovering from a cold.
I heard you got some sniffles in the place.
Yeah, man. It's not good. It's not good, but you know.
So we're just checking the microphone, the levels. So we're going to come on with the interview right now, live on the Mama Knows Best show, radio show. And we're talking about getting women into tech. And definitely with TAP and Angel from doing amazing stuff in the community. And what I love about TAP is that, I don't know if we could call us young people anymore.
I don't know about me, but yeah.
But young spirited people, definitely for the community and uplifting and just skilling the community. So yeah, big up.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Some great comments.
Love suppose. So we're going live here on Mama Knows Best. Make sure you check us out for sure. And let's get this going. You're listening to Chinya on the Mama Knows Best show, and we're going live on our YouTube hour. Big up everyone who's absolutely logged on to our YouTube. You can see inside the studio on what we do on the Mama Knows Best radio show. So big up to everyone who's on there. And you can also comment on there as well. And you can comment as well on our via our text line on 07599 642626. And remember when I told you about our interview? We're going to have it right now. And as well, I'm going to actually ask my interviewee about our gold digging question. So you're listening to Chinya on Legacy 90.1, and I'm going to be introducing Angel from TAP.
Let's go with that. Yeah. Go first.
Excellent. So we're here now, and we're going to put on the rhythm. Big up to everyone who's listening to the Mama Knows Best show. And yes, we've got our interviews coming in and our interviewee. And yes, we've got our coming in. So yes, to be a background noise. So we're talking to TAP about, I want to know about the organization. I want to know about this new initiative that's coming. And as well, I want to know about everything that is doing and how it actually happened. So yes, and we've got Otis as well joining us, and Angelique with us in the building. And it's about getting women into tech. this new revolution of skills that's needed. Definitely. So yeah. So Angeli, how are you doing today?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Recovering from a cold, a bit sniffly, but apart from that, I'm blessed.
The cold's going around, definitely. There's loads of bugs going around. There's rashes going around.
Yeah.
There's like if you've been sick from your bug friends, it's going around. It's a bug.
Yeah, I was warned about that one.
Yeah.
I haven't got that one, so yeah.
Definitely.
God is good.
God is good. And we're joined here as well by Otis. Otis, I'm not sure how we're going to share this mic. You don't know.
Marvel's position here, so
there you go. So hopefully, let's roll it. Hopefully, you'll be able to actually, get on there as well. So we're talking about. You come on specifically to talk about something, but I'm going to kind of change it a little bit because I'm really, really excited about everything that TAP is doing.
Thank you.
And TAP is an organization, guys, that are making waves in the community and really kind of, I feel like, taking over from, not like take over, but, from the back in the day when we had
took the baton on.
Took the baton on. There you go. The baton's been taken on. So yes, so we're going to be talking to Angeli and Otis.
Got my name.
I didn't.
All right.
I didn't.
Thought it was family.
You were family. I didn't. It's just everything that's going on in my ears right now. Okay, so TAP, what is it about?
TAP stands for the African Pot Project. Do you want to go with your spiel?
Oh, why you throw it on me?
Anyway, this
okay.
one here.
And then I'll add the next bit.
All right, so TAP stands for African Pot Project. We work with the African and African diasporic community under the 4 pillars of health, education, community, and business. So we provide training, products, and services under those 4 pillars.
What we seek to do, one of our main aims, is to enable effective participation groups of community members who can come along and participate, sit down in network groups, have those conversations with policymakers, those people who can influence and change things on the ground. So our main vision is to address and reduce social exclusion.
Yes.
So we're trying to promote social inclusion because we know that there's massive disproportionalities across the board for Black people, i.e. African diasporic people in Manchester and UK-wide and globally. So,
yeah. It's because even on our Good News, BBC are actually making measures to actually include the BME community in senior positions. And I'm thinking, wow, is the none? BBC is the none? You know what I mean? But it's really good, as you said, about including. And even on the Mama Knows Best show, I find that people don't know what's going on from communities like ours and not involved at all.
Yeah.
So wow.
That's what we seek to do, just enable effective participation and engagement across the board, because like you just said, some people might be at home, they might be at home with children, carers, particularly in our community, is a big thing. They're not able to come out, they're not able to engage, socialise and find out what's going on the ground, find out what's available there for them, and just literally tap in to what they should be taking.
Oh, I understand what TAP means. I just got the slogan. Do you hear that, guys? Tap in to what's going on. Big up TAP. Big up TAP, but definitely. So we're talking about a project that you're doing, and I think it's absolutely necessary and it's needed. And we're talking about women into tech.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Go for it.
Okay, so this came about a few months ago, early in the year. I went to a South Manchester networking event and I specifically targeted someone from UK Fast. I've always been interested with what's happening in the building, so I was trying to work my way in, and then I seen this opportunity to connect with someone who's from the organisation. So we spoke at the event, and I asked them. I kind of put it on the toes, and just like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, so UK Fast is based in Moss Side and Hume,
and they have been since 2008.
Yeah, there's a lack of diversity in the tech industry. What he's doing about it. So they invited me in. They made me aware of certain things that they did have in place, certain initiatives involving an organisation called Solidarity in Tech. And then they invited myself and Angeli back in 2 weeks later and asked us if we want to be part of this program, which is basically to train local women, specifically targeting BAME. Not that I don't even like the word BAME, be more role with BGM, which is Black Global Majority. So that's the acronym we want to push.
Oh my God. Sorry, I just done it. Black Global Majority. Okay. So you're saying that?
Yeah, we're putting it out there on a political level.
Unapologetic.
Yeah, because BAME is just it's too generalized to put everybody who is a person of color into one homogenous group is rude.
Yeah.
I think it's rude, it's disrespectful, it's ignorant, and it doesn't talk to the nuances and the complexities and the great parts that every group has to offer. So be unapologetic and stay black.
I love it.
Simple as. So yeah, they invited us back in, asked us if we wanted to be part of this program. We applied for funding with GNCA.
Yep.
And we were successful with our application. So the program is 3 half days a week. So 2 of those days are based on learning to operate a program called Linux, which is an operating system. So kind of like on your iPhone, you have iOS.
Yeah.
So iOS is an operating system. Linux is what powers Microsoft
And Android,
etc. So they'll be learning how to use that program. So it's a 12-week program. Then after that, they're guaranteed a job interview, minimum starting off from 22 to 24k, raising to 36k after 2 years. So as part of that program, TAP will be delivering soft skills workshops based on confidence building, self-esteem, mindfulness, mindset, resilience, etc. So
Oh, I love
because
it.
I think that part of the conversations we discussed is it's all well and good having a technical offer and training up these women technically, but then what after that? How, if they're just coming out, if they haven't worked for a while because they've been looking after children, or if they're working part-time, or if this is a completely different field that they're getting into, they need skills to be able to operate in the workplace, to mitigate against any type of microaggressions, as they call it, because they are BAME or black. And they also need those generalized kind of like what they call GMC call soft skills, confidence building, having grit and resilience, being able to speak for yourself and be assertive. Those things there as a holistic package. If we can skill these women up with those things, there's more chance that they will get a job, stay in the job, and be retained, and really start to infiltrate and diversify the tech industry. So
yeah, so for those who are interested, if you send an email to info@techmanchester.co.uk, and someone will get back in touch with you. We are running out of spaces, so I would advise you to move fast before this place is
it's proved really successful, hasn't it? Yeah, you can send a text message to text TEQ to 07827 331 290.
That's excellent.
Do you want to repeat that number again? So get your pens ready if you want to write it down.
Scrambling for your pens. I'll put it in your phone. So text capital letters TEQ to 07827 331 290.
Nice. I want to talk about the new revolution in, coming through a new industry, because the whole tech world is it's a world. But if you're not involved, you actually can get. We're gonna leave.
We're gonna lose out. When we were writing this bid, part of bid writing is to, as we all know, is you have to really understand what it is you're trying to work towards, what you're trying to provide. So part of it, we had to read a lot of strategies, a lot of policy documents to find out exactly what the drive is and what the intention is for Manchester as a city for the next 20 to 50 years. So we were reading spatial frameworks, we were reading policies, we were reading about, on a regional level and on a national level, what the trends are, what the drivers, what the patterns are, particularly for digital tech, virtual reality, AR, all of those things there, and recognizing that that's going to grow exponentially. That's probably going to be about 50% of the workforce.
So in saying about Manchester and and their vision in 20 years, what was the thing that stood out to you?
It's not even 20 years, looking to do it by 2020 and then 2030. So they want to make Manchester city of tech. So so you can see with all the things that are happening on the ground with the new university build and all of these new innovative.
There's a big investment in AI for next year from the university. So.
AI is going to be massive in Manchester.
In Manchester. Guys, did you hear that? Manchester is, in 10 years' time, they want to be seen as the biggest tech city in the UK. Oh my gosh. So if you want to be involved, you have to just get skilled.
That's it. Get the skills now.
And we could actually be in a position where, as we said, that I can see there's a lot of exclusion within society, within Manchester. And we actually could be on the verge of, of being left behind.
So I want to give a quote that I came across early in the year that's made it so imperative for me to push within STEM field. So it's from Idris Sandhu. For those who are not aware, he was someone who was working with Nipsey Hussle. So he created the first world's smart store. He's done freelance work for a lot of tech companies such as Instagram. So, the search and the search bar in Instagram, he created that.
Oh, nice.
So, for example, here's the quote that he said. So he said, in the next 10 years, our people's ability to adapt to tech will either advance us forward more than we could have ever imagined or set us back more than slavery ever did. The most important task of our youth will be to create technology and not consume it. So it's really imperative that we do get involved in this
Oh my
field before we get left behind again.
So there could be actually two worlds going on. One that's, you know, moving forward and, you know, setting trends, and there's one that could be actually being a, left behind slave to it, or not involved.
That's how important it is. We're literally on the precipice of a new world, if you want to call it. And if we don't get alive to it, I mean, even myself, I'm learning and have to be relearning and learning every single day. And the work that I do with young people, just as an aside, is it's the same thing that I'm pushing with them. You need to learn this thing, or else you're going to get left behind. You know, so it's really, really important.
So sad, so sad, so sad, so sad. Oh my gosh. You're listening to Chinya on Legacy 90.1 FM on the Muma Knows Best show, and I'm talking to TAP, and we're talking about their new project that you guys have to get on board. And it's a good entry into the tech world. And is it more like coding type thing? Is that, you know, or is it
it's like the building blocks of, some people call it the building blocks of the internet. So it's a platform that helps to build applications that you'd find. So like you said, Android, so the equivalent would be Apple iOS operating system. It's like an operating system, essentially. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
You see?
Oh wow. So guys, make sure you do lock on and get onto it, as well as Angeli and Otis. Get it right.
Should we touch on a couple of the other things that we've got going on that people get involved?
Yeah.
So do you want to cover the Black to the Future project?
Oh yeah, the Black to the Future project part 2. So that's an intergenerational youth work exchange program that TAP are involved in, in association with an organisation, Social Enterprise in London, called Bele. And basically it's youth work exchange program to 4 different cities: Lisbon, Rotterdam, Berlin, and then Manchester. So we're the Manchester contingent. That's happening in September, and we're looking for youth workers. Munich, maybe because I wish it was Berlin. Yeah, do you want to add some more? Go for it, mate.
Yeah, so it's a youth worker practitioner exchange program just to create a best
practice toolkit.
Toolkit. So it involves exchange trips to those cities mentioned. Myself and Angel went to Munich in September, was it? And we delivered. September.
No,
October.
October.
So we went to Munich in October. We delivered a workshop based on young people and social media, which went down really well. And based on the feedback, we've extended that from an hour to a 4-day training. So that's something that we're going to start expanding on. We go to Rotterdam in January. We go to Lisbon in May, and then we host everyone in September next year.
So what we're looking for is youth work practitioners who work with Black young people, essentially, to contact us so we can create a bit of a cohort, a group of experienced practitioners, young to old school, new school, different approaches to youth work, so we can have those conversations and start to create a really cool toolkit. Because once we've created this toolkit for the BTTF2 program, it's going to be shared around all of the European satellite, if you want to call it, centres. So it's about best practice in youth work, because we know that, you know, how you'd work with a young person who has a white working class background would be completely different to how you'd work with a Black young person. And it's just those cultural nuances and how we can get the best out of our practice and become really professional at this.
And just to add to that as well, I literally just came off the phone an hour ago to the CEO of eBelly. So there's going to be a load of opportunities next year for people to travel, all expenses paid. Wow. There's 11 trips, 11 different cities. So one of the ones I went to earlier this year was Blacks in Europe in Amsterdam. And it was a really like I could even say life-changing experience in regards to the knowledge and how empowered I was when I came back off that trip. So I'd highly recommend that one as well. So we'll be promoting the dates of those next year, and people can tap into those, and it's all expenses paid, all flights, you get spending money while you're there, all your food covers, etc. So,
but there is also a responsibility and an expectation that you be involved in the actual program, in terms of ensuring that there's content, there's quotes, testimonials, case studies, pictures, all of these things that we can use as a cohesive part to add to the program.
We've got lots more coming up with TAP, so you have to stay involved. I'm going to get you, because there's so much more things, and I want to ask loads of questions as well. So stay tuned as well. You listen to Chinya on Legacy 90.1 FM, and we've got loads of texts coming in about TAP. A question for TAP after this.
Loads of questions.
Why do you do the work that you do? It's not a role you can do just for monetary gain.
No, it's not. And this is amazing, and I'm sure that Mama Knows Best might be one of the practitioners, you know?
Yeah, we've got something lined up with Kitchen,
Thank you.
There you go.
Literally.
All right.
So
Can we start
Otis might
answering?
not know. My Otis might know that we're live here on YouTube in the station,
Oh, right.
definitely. And I've got tap here, and I just actually learned what tap meant: tapping in to systems, tapping into the world. And I loved the two abbreviations that you did. One about being unapologetically Black, and as you said, Angeline, you know, not putting everyone of different ethnicities, you know, into one band, because it does actually undermine people's history, people's cultures, people's, you know, everything.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like you and you and us. That's interesting, definitely. And also they said as well, they're talking about Manchester's going to be the tech central of the UK, and we have to get involved or we're going to get left behind. And Otis had a quote talking about, if you're not in this, then there's going to be two different worlds that you could be living in.
Worse than slavery.
Worse than slavery. And that has no colour other than the lack of opportunities that are actually presented for the Black community as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my heart.
But we'll get there.
You're getting there. We've got organisations like this. Yeah.
Can I answer 1, 2, and 5?
Wait till it's on there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
what 1, 2, and 5?
Yeah, and you answer the rest.
Okay. So we've got some text messages that have come in, and you can text as well live on 07599642626. We're doing double show here, you know, Otis.
Trying to keep up.
Greetings, Junior. Questions for TAP. As a young organisation involved in the community, has to say, why do you do the work you do?
What did you say? 1, 2, and
5.
It's not a role. You can just do.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
No,
What do
I
you
didn't
think
read
the
it.
main focus
Oh,
should
yeah,
be towards our Black youth regarding violent crimes? What do you view as potential impact on jobs for the youth in the future, given high levels of it's true. Yeah, that's your view. Gosh, I should always bring my glasses in.
You need glasses.
Oh yeah,
glasses,
I need
you need
glasses. I know. I don't wear them. I can't
Don't
see.
need the glasses.
You know what I mean? We
Glasses
need
are
the glasses.
amazing.
But I need some help with yours. So definitely, we will be voting for the election. And why? I like this. Oh, Starman. Thank you, Starman, for giving me my pre-questions for you guys, which is hot. So,
Oh, is this what? Let me just send you.
Huh?
You Starman?
Regular listening.
Oh, right. I thought you meant it was Marrow then. Okay.
No. Oh,
That's a good name, man.
Yeah, it's so good. Big up to Starman, wherever you are. Regular input into the Mama Knows Best show and brings up vibes that, you know, you'll never, ever, ever be talking about, and then it just splits it. Blessed. You're listening to the Mama Knows Best show with Chinia, and I've got Tap inside the building, and we're going to be talking about everything that they're doing, and it's wonderful. That's Starman. Thank you. I've missed you, Starman. I really have. So thank you so much for texting in. We've got like 6 questions that we're going to get into with Tap, and it's good. We're even talking about voting. Are you voting tomorrow? Yeah, and why? And you know. And then we're talking about employment and all these wonderful things. Manchester's going to be, you know, the tech city in 2020. Oh my gosh. It's good reading things, you know, and finding out what's going on in your area. Make sure you do and stay locked 100% to the Mama Knows Best show. We're coming with loads of wonderful, wonderful things and, you know, good news. I'm going to be talking to them about that too. Nice. Love it.
Is John gone back now?
Yes. So we're on our YouTube hour on the Mama Knows Best show. Yes. And we're going back and forth. It's like being live on FM radio and being live on YouTube across the world. So that's good. So make sure you just stay involved with YouTube, with our family. We've got loads of wonderful things. We've got our episodes. We're taking people's stories. We use stories to heal. And I'm on my journey of self-discovery. Definitely.
Nice, yeah.
So do you think that self-discovery, you can actually get to a point of enlightenment, or are you always discovering?
I think you always have.
You're always discovering, but I think you can reach over the threshold of enlightenment, but there's not really like a end goal with enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's a constant
Keep
stage
on.
of evolving.
I
so
think enlightenment is literally when you leave the planet.
Yeah.
I just not think people can do things where they can get stages of enlightenment, such as ayahuasca and stuff?
Potentially, but what you're doing is you're just touching it and then coming away. You're not living in it.
Okay.
So,
You know what I found? That there's lots of people that are actually, as you said, living out of the experience and wanting to live in that spiritual zone.
Mhm.
And kind of, but I'm thinking you're here to have a human experience as well,
Exactly.
and to be able to have that balance of both. And enlightenment comes from.
And what's the definition of enlightenment? And that would
It's
answer the question.
learning something new that has an impact to your. I don't even
Well,
know.
based on that definition, then we can live in enlightenment. Innit?
yeah,
What's
based
your
on that
definition?
definition, I'd have to look at the dictionary, but my definition of enlightenment is
Let's look at
probably
what the
learning
definition
all
says.
that you need to know.
Yeah, your journey,
Yeah.
or in general.
Hence
or
why I think
beyond.
that you'd gain it once you leave the planet, and you would then be thoroughly enlightened. What more do you need to know? Because
But what if you come from a space of enlightenment rather than you leave the planet and then you become enlightened? What about if enlightenment's there?
What do you mean?
Oh, we're going online.
Good combo.
So we're live. Make sure you check us out live and text in. Definitely, this is Mama Knows Best Show, and thank you so much for viewing as well. And make sure you text in as well. We can get your texts live, so you could join in on that. And then also as well, we've got our text line question. It's all about gold digging. Who's a gold digger? But it's really good. The texts that come in is flipping the whole conversation about what that really means. So interesting. You're through to the Mama Knows Best Show, and I've got Tap inside, and it's really good. And Starman, I love you, I love you. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And definitely, we got some wonderful questions. Music on. And if you got any questions as well, you can text in on 07599642626 to Tap as well. And I just found out what Tap was. Tapping in. Has it got some abbreviations? Like T stands for?
Yeah.
A stands for? Give it to me, please.
So it stands for the African Pot Project. So it's TAP Project, so it stands for the African Pot Project.
So the African pot, what pot?
So,
Our pot.
yeah.
Our pot of life, of existence, of civilization, of society, of
everything.
Of everything.
What you just said.
Yeah.
What you just said, yeah. If you look at the like Jamaica, for instance, out of many one people, it literally is a melting pot of different ethnicities, cultures, peoples. Whereas Africa now, or not even whereas, using that same analogy, Africa is so wide and vast that we literally are a melting pot of the whole world, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, it just resonated with us, I think. When
That's wonderful.
chosen.
We honour great black men and women of UK history here on the Mama Knows Best Show. And this whole journey of just like finding out about myself, who I am, as a black woman in the UK has been so interesting, to the point where it's kind of like, broken all the myths, all the falsehoods of information, and made me think, oh my gosh, guys, every culture has been through something horrific, you know what I mean? And there's so much lies that are building up this society that we're living in, which if we cannot, was able to unravel it all, we just know that, guys, we just have to live together as one piece in harmony and just go forward. And we are as you said, a melting pot of human mankind. It's all interesting. So yeah, we're going to get to the text messages. We've got one that says, "Greeting, Junior, question for Tap. As a young organization," I like that, young organization, "involved in a community activism," let's get that. "Why do you do the work that you do? It's not a role that you do just to gain monetary gain." Yeah, so there's not really lots of monetary gain within, setting up projects and, as you said, making UK Fast open their doors to the black community that's there on their doorstep, or actually, the black community was here first, so
Yeah, they came to our house.
and didn't open the door, and you knocked on the door, said, "What are you doing? Why do you go out and do this?"
Because it's needed. Yeah, that's it. Because it's needed, and because we can. And as we've been described as young, thank you very much, Darman, we have the energy and the fire to do that work. As we spoke before, it's about the baton has been passed now.
Yeah.
So we do it because we can. I've been doing community work for, 20 years? My dad has been doing it for 40 odd years. I've come from it's something that I've seen and I know it works, it's necessary and it's needed. And it goes back to our vision. We are readdressing the balance.
Readdressing the balance. I love that.
Yeah, we're just living our purpose. That's why we do it. We're here to serve, and that's what we're doing, serving.
Nice. Living purpose and serving. So do you have to actually get to a state of enlightenment before everyone's laughing because we were talking about what is enlightenment?
I'm going to Google it now.
Do that. And so knowing how do you get to know your purpose?
I think a few years ago, I kind of just got to the stage where I had to live within what my belief system was. And I felt like it wasn't necessarily doing that. So I went through certain changes, such as changing my diet to a plant-based diet. And yeah, but I don't know, I just aligned with the like-minded people, and then we formed TAP. So TAP was formed through a group of us in a WhatsApp group speaking about what can we do for the community. It was a big group of about 60 people. We met up about 30, then it whittled down to about 8 people. And this is where we are now.
Nice. And talking about TAP as well, and or the community, Moss Side is being carved out, getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
What can TAP do, or what has TAP done, or what can we do as a community?
What we're trying to do at the minute is, like I say, part of our work is to create and enable groups, network groups, where the community can come and find out exactly what's going on and be involved in decisions and speak to policymakers and influencers to really get involved in what's happening on their doorstep, really. So what we are trying to do, and we have been for the past year, is pull together some type of community forum where we actually have a voice, where we can go to all of these forums, these platforms, and say, this is how the Black community feel, this is what we want. So, similar to what Otis said, put it on their toes and say, what are you doing for us, essentially. So it's about accountability, really. It's about scrutiny of what is happening, particularly Moss Side and Hume, or for the Black community.
There you go. We're going to get to the question as well. Question 2. What do you think the main focus should be towards our Black youth regarding violent crimes?
So, sorry, see, I'll move the mic.
Yeah,
so,
is that your question?
Yeah, so when we talk about purpose,
yeah,
I do youth and community work, and I've been doing that for 20 years this year. It's not something that I originally intended to do, but I found my purpose in that. So for me, I've been doing a lot of work around that, around working with Black youth in regards to violent crime. I've done a few radio interviews, I've written a few pieces, I've had countless conversations. And for me, the main focus is about treating our Black youth as just that, Black young people. They're not adults, they're not criminals, they're not people of colour, the Black and the young and the learning and the disadvantaged, and they need a break. And then on top of that, they're also traumatised, and they're not being listened to. They're being oppressed on multiple levels every single day, and we need to treat them like young people. Yeah. First of all, the babies. Let's just protect them and guide them and teach them and stop criminalising these children. I'm not saying that a child over the age of 10, supposedly criminally culpable, doesn't understand what they're doing, but we also need to recognise that under the age of 25, your brain hasn't even finished growing. It's things like that. We need to recognise that the young and the growing, and they're going to make mistakes, and we have to guide them, because if we just leave them and sweep it under the carpet, as has been happening, the problem literally is going to get bigger. That's it. And crime and violent crime usually is very much apparent in areas of high deprivation. So we need to look at the causes. These youth are living in madness. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, yes, Denise, hello, my fellow radio lady just come in. Thank you so much. And definitely we're talking as well as, I'm kind of, there's something that you've raised, and I'm going to go back to that. We'll get back to the questions as well. What is your view on how artificial intelligence will impact on jobs for youth in the future, gain high level of employment?
Okay, so I think it's about looking into what advances are happening within tech. So I'm heavily interested in Tesla, for example. So Tesla, I know.
White pill.
I'm definitely getting a Tesla at some point.
I am. This year, 2020. Watch the ride. I love it. Nice.
So yeah, so Tesla's leading the way in regards to advancements in autonomous technology. So for those who don't know, autonomous technology is self-driving cars, basically. So Tesla aims to, once they've reached the advancements with that and it passes government regulations, what they're going to do is launch something called Tesla Network. So Tesla Network is a robo-taxi service. So when this launches, it's basically going to put Uber out of business, because at the moment Uber, it costs on average about $2.50 per mile, whereas the Tesla is going to cost them 18 cents per mile. They don't have a driver. It's run by electric, so there's no gas. So Uber's going to be finished. You probably start seeing a push with Uber pushing more towards the Uber Eats, because they can't really compete with this.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other people a lot of the other companies who are pushing with autonomous technology, they're using a system called LiDAR, which is based on sensors, whereas Tesla are building a neural network, which is developed through cameras. So they're basing on how humans drive. So we see with our eyes. So they've got 8 cameras around the car, and that's what's building. They're going into a supercomputer. Yeah. They've got over 1 billion miles of data. So to win this race, it's going to be based on data. Tesla have got over 2 billion miles worth of data. The next closest competitor is Waymo. I think they've got like maybe 1 million miles, because they're actually paying drivers to go out and collect data, whereas Tesla have got people who are buying the cars, and that's just collecting the data for them. So no one can compete.
Talking about Tesla, guys, I always say, wherever you want to be, just get there, do it, and knock on the door and say, oh, can I have a test drive? Or could I go into this place? Let me go on a yacht. So I went on a test drive with Tesla.
Okay.
I thought, okay, I need to press this button where this car drives by itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Press the button. It freaked me out because it took the wheel.
Yeah.
And as it took the wheel, it's driving. I'm thinking, okay. But this car decides to come out at the side of me, and the Tesla car did not move. If I didn't swerve out the way, then we would have been in a crash.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for a car that I can kind of sleep.
Yeah. It's not at that stage yet. So there's certain levels in autonomy.
I'm joking. Keep your eyes on the road, guys, and stay. If you feel tired, rest.
So we're at about level 3 now. When it gets to level 5, that's when you can go sleep in the car, and they'll probably start producing cars with no steering wheel.
I'd never do that.
No, that's shocking.
Well, you'll see the data so far now is a lot safer with Tesla Autopilot compared to humans.
Oh, wow.
So if you look at it, then it's heading that way. It's still just a work in progress.
Okay.
Also, what I was going to say is, so it's asked a question about artificial intelligence in the future in regards to employment. So looking at that, if we know it's heading that way, so with the tech work, there's 2 ways how you can make money. So you could buy a Tesla and you could drive it yourself, but you can put your own car on the network. So if you work, you can put your car on the network. The car can go out and earn money for you whilst you're in work doing the taxi service. And then pick you back up. So now cars will be seen as an investment.
Because there's actually investment advertisements going on to say, do you want to invest in the car? And and they're actually subletting it and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So you'll see companies having fleets of Teslas putting it on the network to earn money in the future. So another thing in regards to AI is Amazon. So Amazon have launched a store called Amazon Go. So they've done a trial in Seattle, I think it was. So they purchased Whole Foods, and they're going to start converting those into Amazon Go. So Amazon Go is a till-less, cashless store. So there's no checkout tills. You just put your stuff in the bag and walk out. So when you walk in, you scan your phone into your Amazon account, put everything in your basket, in your bag, and walk out, and it just deducts the money from your account.
Oh my gosh, people. Oh my gosh. And you're hearing what it's going to be going. And this is like we're saying about in 10 years.
No, this is now. So they've got a shop that does this now.
Wait. Rewind, select on, come again.
So they've done a trial in a shop in Seattle called Amazon Go. So it's open now. This is what they do. So they're just testing the technology.
Do you know what I'm scared of? I don't know, my mum finds it hard to do her mobile phone. I was doing something the other day and I couldn't actually do it. And I said, I had to call my 10-year-old to say, can you help me with the technology on my phone? And I thought, wow, even it's going so fast that, I remember when Google came out and I had to test and I had to spell Google. I spelled it wrong, only because it was the first time, now it's absolutely shocking. But we're talking about AI. One of the good news, or one of our shout out, was talking about the 5G and the technology that needs to help all this AI, which is not, I believe, good for the human body and the human people. So there has to be a balance of being able to keep ourselves safe within this technological world. And
there's some countries where they've banned 5G. So.
Yeah. I definitely think, I don't know a whole lot about it. 2 things is it seems like there's this AI future that we're going into, and then we talk about being left behind if we don't understand tech. I think it's going to be very similar to this. This encompasses it. This is part of it. AI is going to be so big and so many people involved in it. If it's almost going to be like two groups of people living on the planet: those who embrace AI and those who don't. And I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'll leave it there. And then the second point I wanted to make is when you talk about young people are what we call digital natives. So they've been born into a digital era, particularly post-20, whereas we, over the age of 35, are digital immigrants. So we literally don't understand the language of digital tech. So that's another thing. So it goes back to point 2 about understanding young people. We need to understand their language and how they communicate. And it's not how we communicate. And that's it.
Oh my gosh, people. So we're talking about as well, what are your views of youth connecting with Africa, and what are the benefits as well?
So we're strong advocates of Sankofa, and we believe you have to look back in order to go forward. And I think it's just a case of if youth know that they've come from greatness, then it instills that belief within themselves that they can achieve greatness. So we're strong advocates of that. Right, I didn't think to that, Angel.
Just something I was reading. There's a guy, he's 26, Nigerian guy called Silas Kunle, I think. Yeah, and he's the highest paid tech guy in the world at the minute. So he sold some of he started his company back in, he must have been about 15 when he started his company, and now he sold it, and I think he works for Apple. And he's probably the highest paid, if you want to call it, tech guy at the minute. And one thing I always say is necessity drives innovation, and in Africa, because there is necessity, for whatever reason, it is driving innovation so fast. And I think that our young people over here need to be able to see the amazing things that are happening over on the continent. Because even, who's that guy who's going to live there for 3 months?
The guy from Twitter, the CEO.
The CEO of Twitter recognizes that Africa is going to be the place to be on the planet.
Everyone's going there. Everyone's investing in there.
So,
and I'm actually scared again that we're going to get left behind. We've not been given the information, or no one's going to say, "Oh, go buy your house on stupid."
No, this is the second scramble for Africa. Essentially, this is colonialism again, but colonialism in the cloud. That's how deep it's going. Yeah.
Oh. It hurts. It makes me think, have we learned from the
So to talk about Sankofa, lessons from the past, we need to know Wagwan so we can make sure that it doesn't get taken again and we can monopolize on our own riches, so to speak. That's it.
Definitely. Okay, leading on to the next question as well is about voting. We're actually got our voting poll open tomorrow, and you are seeing in the studio, they're pushing the microphone. I'm not answering this, you answer it. So
sorry.
Voting.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was this one.
So we're talking about the vote for 2020, for the elections on the 12th of December. We talked about it as well on the Muma Knows Best show last week. And we was very informed, and we was just hoping everyone to get informed and to vote. Here, this might be a big, massive, really important election right now going on. So what are your views, and who would you be voting for, and why?
So I think this election is probably the most important election of our lifetimes. I think that people, if you are going to vote, I think you should use the vote, because it literally could. I know some people say there's no point in voting because, they're all going to do us over anyway, and they're all part of the same massive machine and politics and politricks. I get all that. But then, no, it's true though. And there are definitely politricks going on. At the same time, we do still have power. There is something called people power. Not to be, condescending, but we do have people power as a people, whether it be Black global majority, young people, whatever. So for me, I would advise that people find out what's going on, mass debrief, go onto the BBC.co.uk website, BBC News, who should I vote for, general election 2019, and then you can compare the party manifestos. I went to the hustings on Sunday that our partners, Caribbean African Health Network, put on down at the Church of God of Prophecy, and that was really interesting. So candidates for Central Manchester were there talking about their pledges and what they were doing. So as they were talking, I was looking on the website just to be sure that they were saying what, and it's things like that. Scrutinise these people and ask them what's going on. But for me, I'm voting tactically. I'm not voting for Labour. I'm not voting for Conservative. I'll be voting for Green Party.
Oh, wow.
Because they need some seats. That's it. They need some seats. So personally, I'd like to see a hung parliament because it means that not one party is going to get there one way. Boris Johnson is a madman. Jeremy Corbyn, I think, his heart's in the right place, but he's a bit literally green behind the ears. So I think if there's that kind of an amalgamation of all the parties, I think it's going to be a bit more balanced. But I'm not a political pundit. That's just my thoughts.
There you go. And that's Angeline's thoughts on voting as well and the political party. And just discretion for the radio station. This is not any of Legacy 90.1's views.
These are mine.
Yeah. So you get out there and go and vote. As Angeline said, this is probably one of the massive votes happening in our lifetime. And you hear about it, 10 years. Manchester's going to be, the tech space. So there's already a plan in place. It's just whether or not, you're going to be involved
part of it
and know what's going on. And kind of before it hits you, down the side of your face, and like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming.
Oh, yeah. Case in point, Windrush.
Oh my gosh, yes. Ooh. Oh, they keep uppercutting me here. Honestly, Windrush, definitely. You're listening to Chinia, and we've got so much more talk, and I've got a few more questions, and we've got even some more text line questions, and then also I'm going to be talking as well about my text line questions. Kind of sounds a bit silly, kind of speaking about all this wonderful, amazing stuff in the world. We're talking about gold diggers. She's a gold digger. He's a gold digger. No, I don't think that's a song. But yes, big up to everyone who's listening to the Mama Knows Best show. Just do one track and then we're going again. And then what?
I'll answer this question about Anarchy with the jobs as well.
Anarchy,
Nice. Oh my gosh, YouTube Live. And I've really enjoyed it. Guys, I'm open. I love the word where you said Black global majority.
Yeah, that's what we're rolling with. Unapologetically.
Wow.
And it's facts as well.
Yeah.
We're not making it up or pulling it out. It's fact. So.
What call us minority.
Yeah.
Ethnic. There's negative connotations.
Ethnic. The root word of ethnic in Latin is pagan or heathen.
Oh.
Right.
That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, I'll throw that out there as well. So, and then on top of that, I'm not a BAME. What's a BAME?
I don't know. That don't sound like a good name.
No, it doesn't.
Babe. Not even like babe.
And then at one point they were putting R at the end, and R stands for refugee. So they were putting everybody into one
That's
pot.
really sad.
It's really sad.
Like you and us.
And you know what happens as well with that? So in regards to like funding, they'll say they'll fund BAME, but the black people aren't receiving the funding, the majority Asians.
Yeah.
So then we're getting left behind, and then they'll say, well, we've done our bit, we've taken the spots, we've funded BAME, but our needs aren't being met. So let's have our own separate category. So
and then people are saying, oh, you're being divisive, oh, that's racist. What we're doing is counteracting the racist systems that you refuse to challenge or dismantle. So I don't know what to tell you,
What's beautiful as well is that even within the labeling yourself as black, there's many different cultural differences within the whole black community, which is different full stop, as well. And then even because we were talking about it on a Mama Knows Best show, we were saying that being black was a political movement, to usually people are described of the location you're from. I am, Afro, Caribbean, British, You listen to Junior on Legacy 90.1 FM. It's going off in here. You can join us live on YouTube as well. We've got our live YouTube hour going. I think it's probably going past an hour soon. We've got the last 10 minutes coming on. So get on there and you can actually as well comment and listen in, and you could hear the playback, because I'm really, I love it. I really do. This is a journey of self-discovery, as I said, and I love to be informed and listening and hearing. And these new kind of slogan words that, our interviewees, and I know their names, family, are throwing out. I'm just like, oh, that's an uppercut. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Oh, I'm going on and definitely an emotional journey and just learning. Okay, Starman, thank you for our questions. We've got two more. What do you both see yourself doing 20 years from now? Starman, 20 years.
Just to answer Starman's question about AI, there's going to be anarchy because no jobs. No, I wouldn't say that's going to be the case. I think it's a case of us evolving with the times. So previously, before the car came out and there was everyone was transporting by horse and carriage. People just had to evolve and step up and embrace the new opportunities. So it's going to be the same cycle again, where certain technologies will die down and we have to tap into the new opportunities that AI will create. And especially with Manchester being one of the center points in the UK for AI and emerging technologies, it's time for us to learn the necessary skills and jump on board and take advantage of it. So that's how I'd answer that question.
Definitely.
So,
So what? Sorry.
so you asked me where we see ourselves in the next 20 years.
Yes, well, where do you see yourself in 20 years? And if I was to put an age of my 20 years, I'm 60. That's a lot.
Yeah, 20 years, I'll be 61.
Oh, baby, I love it. But you know what's
No wrong with
beautiful?
that.
How I always say, God's keeping us young.
Yeah,
Because we've
man.
got lots of work to go.
But think
Lots of
back
work
in the
to do.
day, say about 20 years ago, when you looked at a 40-year-old, that probably seemed old. But look how we feel
Old.
now at these ages.
And then I
Listen.
realised as well, because I used to say, why have they still got baggy jeans and they're wearing, the 40-year-olds? And I'm,
How
50.
dare they? And now
How
we're
dare
doing
they?
it, and we're
And
like, yeah.
But it's just, age ain't not
Cycle.
but a
But a
number.
number.
Yes, said definitely. And I always think as well about age and time being a concept of the kind of West type thing. There's some people I know that don't. My dad don't know what day he's born. You know what I mean? So my grandma and stuff like that. And it's a concept of the West, and conceptualizing certain things like that. It kind of makes you old. It makes you, like they say, retirement is the biggest killer. Because when you say I'm retired, there's no more drive within your mental brain to say I'm going to do this, I'm going to create this. The system basically says you wither and you die. So definitely 20 years. Give me Angeline. You.
20 years, I'll be 61. You know what? Hope to be lecturing somewhere at university, preferably somewhere hot.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah,
I like
as
it.
a
Multiple books out.
really.
Dr. Sweeney.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
this is my vision.
There you go. We've got some
That's
classy
it.
visions going on here.
That's it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Otis, if you like to do you as well, tell
In
me.
20 years, I'm going to be an established entrepreneur. I'm looking at being a hedge fund manager and a philanthropist with multiple businesses worldwide.
There you go. It's good when you got family, innit? You just keep your family ties, Definitely. So I know you. Yeah, man. Wow. 20 years. I don't know.
Sometimes, just to think about the future like that.
Yeah. 20 years, I'll be in Africa and I'll be involving this new tech world that has a conscious social responsibility for the rest of the world, being leading in every single area of life, and then also as well throwing out or showing as well, because I always find that for Africa and Africa to be able to take up being taken over or carved out, they had to be very welcoming. Because you can't go and take somewhere that you don't know. You know what I mean? So in terms of Africa being a welcoming country and inclusive and kind of set that tone for the rest of the human mankind to say, you know what, let's live in this world together in peace, love and harmony. For sure, 100%, definitely. Starman, big up! The question's amazing. And definitely greetings all. Love the word TAP, T-A-P. And it stands for?
The African Pot.
The African Pot are doing. Thank you, Dorette. You listen to Chinya on Legacy 90.1 FM. We're going to have a little bit left from TAP, and they're going to be actually giving a roundup. So if you've got any questions out there for TAP, and tap in their brains. Tap, that's what it means. Tap, get the information. Tap it. So come on, tap it and send your text in on 07599642626 and have your say on our roundup. You listen to Chinya on the Muma Knows Best show. Just read this out.
Okay.
Wow. So we're live here on the YouTube channel, and this is Mama Knows Best Radio Hour. Guys, man, I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
And the work that you're doing as well is just next level. And, we're definitely going to be joining forces as well.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And as well about, as you said, about this consulting that needs to be done for consultations for the area and what's happening. Because we can't make things keep happening we don't know. So we definitely...
We were just discussing that last night. We were saying how part of our future work is going to be around creating focus groups and doing some market research to really tap into the needs
Yeah.
and the wants and the trends and the patterns of our Black community in order to then communicate that to those. Yeah, because it's just not happening.
No.
You know, so we'll be the
No.
conduit.
Definitely.
You know?
We're with you. We're with you.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my things of being on Mama Knows Best and the radio show.
To do that as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there was so much things happening in Manchester that's really fun, really good, really worth getting involved.
And
we're not getting involved.
We're not doing it.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people said, because I ran a poll here, a lot of people said they just don't get the information. It doesn't trickle down.
Right.
So I thought that's one thing that we want to do, Mama Knows Best, and joining, you know, to trickle that information
one
down.
of the very last things is we have to remember as a people, we are visual learners, we are practical learners. We're not saying we're not academic. The westernized understanding of academia is completely different to our understanding and practice of it. Exactly.
Right hemispheric,
Case in
naturally.
point, Timbuktu, the first university, the biggest in the world, still is to this day. But I think the way in which we speak to each other and how we learn, we have to get back to what resonates with us as a people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's visual, sometimes it's what you're doing on the radio, it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's face to face,
Definitely.
it's feeling, it's
there's a
energy.
different,
You know, it's not round a table and let's sit down in a minute. It doesn't work with us.
It's
you know?
sterile.
Yeah.
Sorry, no,
It's too clinical.
It's too clinical, sterile. We need some, you know,
dance it up and say so, and then make the decision over a song and a food. And, you
But
know,
Bob Marley was one of the biggest teachers
that's true.
to our community,
That's true.
and letting know what's going on
That's
politically
true. That's
around
true.
the world, who we
and
are.
that was through
and
music, and people still
There you
remember
go.
his teachings today. So
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. So yes, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed this interview. And then we're just going to do a roundup and then
we'll touch on fatherhood circle. This event on Saturday.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fatherhood circle.
Yeah, if you want to.
Not really got nothing big right now.
I need to see this pic.
I'll touch on
Sorry, I've left you out.
Show, Ginya Mackenzie on Legacy 90.1 FM.
So you're listening to Chin on Mama Knows Best radio show. We're going to do YouTube live every hour, and I'm here with Tap. Tap has been a very enlightening. I always this journey. I love it. I love learning. I love meeting people. I love knowing what everyone's doing. We have to come together.
Definitely collabs are pending. So
definitely. So check the space. Definitely 100%. And then we're gonna get you. If it's okay with you, I'm gonna come with my camera. And if you could do a feature on Mama Knows Best and an interview, that would be really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So check it out. We're speaking to everybody. And if you are doing something out there as well, let me know at mumaknows@gmail.com. And then we'll come down, film, we'll speak. We want to share good news and let everyone know that there's wonderful things happening around the world. Honest, I don't think this world is as bad as what people say. They say, however you look at the world, that's how the world is.
Yeah.
That's how the world looks at you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a fishbowl effect.
Yeah. So definitely. I think the world is beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't
so
think there's
optimistic about the future.
And there's no shortages. I don't feel like the creator made them think in shortages.
No.
And yeah, definitely. It's just this
greedy folk.
Yeah.
So
gold diggers.
Gold diggers.
Literally.
Eh? Oh, it's amazing.
So yeah, we just wanted to touch on a couple more things that we've got coming up with TAP. So we've got an event this Saturday called Out of Darkness. So that's at the El Shadia Community Centre, 41 Lord Street, M3 1HN. If you want to register, it's free. Go to Eventbrite and type in Out of Darkness. So this is a film screening with featuring a Q&A with the creator, activist and scholar Sabir Bey. So for those who are familiar, you might have seen him on Hidden Colours 1. So he's released his own.
When is that?
So this is this Saturday, 4 p.m. till 8.
4 p.m. till 8.
So it's in town, city centre, not far from the MEN Arena. So we'll be doing a film screening of his film called Out of Darkness and a Q&A. We'll also have a panel of people we're critiquing the film and answering any questions.
Nice, I love it. I love it.
And
See?
also, we'll be on the search engine with Sabir Bay tomorrow night, 9 p.m. till 11.
Yeah, we've got someone that says, please, can you let me know if I can be involved with the TAP group, work-wise, etc.
Oh, of course.
Oh, thank you, Lana. We'll take your number and we'll discuss it off air.
Yeah, definitely. Because we're not on air at the moment. Yes.
Oh, I know. What is on there?
we can give out our email as well.
We're still there. We're gonna come in right now.
What?
So you're here on Mama Knows.
So you just said all
it's
that.
good because we're YouTube Live. YouTube be a multi-dimensional platform for sure. You're listening to Chinya on the Mama Knows Best show, and yes, it's been absolutely amazing having Tap here with me. And I'm sorry that I've just banded you as Tap, but Angeline and Otis from Tap, and I've loved our conversation definitely. And we've got a text as well that says, "Hey, please can you let me know how I can be involved with Tap group, work-wise, etc." Love, Lorna. Well, thanks, Lorna. So definitely, if someone wants to actually get involved in the things that you're doing, how could we contact you, get involved, and know what's going on?
You can follow our socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. And you can also send an email to admin@tapproject.co.uk.
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's TAP Project, and on Instagram and Twitter, it's Tap Events MCR.
There you
So
go.
Lana, we'll take your number and get in touch with you off air and discuss how.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And just texting Laura to make sure that's okay, that we can take your number and we'll be able to get in contact with you as well. So that would be really good. And just to give you a nice roundup, okay, what is going on? The next things that Tap's doing, what's going on? Because I know there's a viewing that I need to go to, you guys need to go to, you need to hear what's going on right now.
So we've got an event this Saturday called Out of Darkness. So this features Sabir Bay, a creator, activist and scholar. You might have seen him feature on Hidden Colours 1. So he's released his own film documentary called Out of Darkness. It's a free event. It's at the El Shadia Community Centre, which is in town, just a walk away from MEN Arena. The address is 48 Lord Street, M31HN. You can register on the Eventbrite, just type in Out of Darkness. So yeah, we're also on air with him tomorrow on the search engine, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow night. So catch that as well.
Excellent, wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, just a bit of a roundup as well. So everyone, we was talking about women in tech and the project as well of women going into tech offered by UK Fast in conjunction with a consulting group that TAP is a part of. And we was also talking about the revolution of technology and the new age of what is happening, and for us to actually, get involved so we don't get left behind. As I said, my 10-year-old was teaching me, and I was like, what? I am all tech. I love tech. And, that's their life. That is their life for sure. So a bit of a roundup about telling people
what the program is.
Yeah.
So it's called Tap Equity Manchester. It's a funding program exclusively for women and binary women, or non-binary, that will give you the technical qualifications to support to turn that skill into a career within the digital workforce, because there's so many jobs out there, particularly for women and for BAME women. It's a 12-week program where you'll be learning a program called Linux, which is basically the building blocks of the internet, and you will be guaranteed a job interview at the end of the 12-week program. The 12-week program consists of 3 half-day training sessions. One will be technical, one will be performance and career focused, and one will be soft skills, which we'll be leading on. After that, you will be guaranteed a job interview, and if you're successful, then you will be placed in one of the Manchester's leading tech companies, starting off 22 to 24,000 a year and raising to how much?
36 after 2 years. After
2 years. So it's really lucrative, and it's something really good to know. So if you want some more information, you can send an email to info@techmanchester.co.uk, or send a text message, TEQ capitals, to 07827 331 290. Anything else to add to that?
No, that's everything regarding tech equity. We've also got a fatherhood circle, which is every Sunday, which is run by one of our fellow directors, Luke Kelly, and that's at Armour Store, Ardwick. was it 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. every Sunday, and that's for fathers to come and discuss whatever issues they have. And
Just to be in a safe space.
It's a bit like father knows best.
Yeah. That's basically it, yeah.
I love it. Definitely. So make sure you get down there, guys, as well. It's just, I think it's really needed where there's a supportive group for fathers to just chat and talk. And even about relationship. My girl's going crazy. Every month she goes crazy. You know, and there's someone else there saying, you know, maybe it's a time of month. You know what I mean? It might be hormonal. And because each one teach one and each one learns. So get down there. Definitely. That's wonderful. I like to go. Can I go as a mama? No.
Very lastly.
But maybe that they can say, you know, ask mama questions about women.
Speak with me.
You really want to on this, don't you?
Yeah.
Very lastly, for those people who celebrate Kwanzaa, 1st of January at Calmar Road, we'll be working in partnership with Packham and the staff down there to deliver Kwanzaa again.
That's excellent, definitely. So happy Kwanzaa to everyone, and it's a seasonal time of giving as well. So guys, get out there. There's Legacy as well with Miss Diva doing a donation box. Any food, any things that you've got, presents, and send them over to Church of God of Prophecy, and that's every Tuesday and Friday from 9 till 5. And definitely just get involved. And I think that I've really seen the support that's happening within the community amongst the groups and people. And it's really, really, really inspiring that to say, you know what, together we have to make this change, and together we have to, you know, help each other to kind of progress and go forward. I'm really looking out. And as Starman, big up to you. Thanks for being back with my text. I missed you. As Starman said as well, that TAP is, you know, and other organizations that are doing amazing work, and it's not for a monetary gain. It's not for a monetary gain. It's more to say, you know what, let's clear the way and let's be equally involved in this society that we've built from scratch. And you know what's beautiful when we were talking about the Windrush as well, knowing that so many people was actually, you know, invited here to help build a country and to say, you know what, come here and help. We need help. We need the help with the NHS. We need help with the buildings after the war. And so everything as well that's here and within the systems and that's going, everyone has an equal put into this society. So then therefore, you know, definitely just...
We need to be involved. It needs to be equitable.
And equally. So definitely, so big up as well to BBC, getting more senior presenters and people within positions, you know, from the Black community, or BAME, which we said that maybe not be as a nice
appropriate,
because it kind of forgets about everyone's cultural differences.
And then ethnic doesn't really mean anything nice either.
No, I've learned so much, and it's not you and I, or you and, you know, let's stop grouping. I said, forget the groups. Let's just be. So you're listening to Chinya on Legacy 90.1. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Chinya. Much appreciated.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. So watch the ride with Mama Knows Best and TAP, baby. We're doing something together. Big up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got to press something again. Thank you. Did you do everything you needed?
Is that all right?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, said nothing for practice.
The crisps are there.
There you go.
I can't use
I know. So we finished that show. I'm really, really happy, and I've learned so much as well, and it's been really good. And there's a community that's helping each other. If you want to help as well, you can get in contact. Just message me through our things. And yeah, thank you. And join us every single week. Definitely, every single week we're going to do something here on the Mama Knows Best show. And we're speaking to people. See, what's it? Sharing is caring, for sure. So thank you so much for being a part, and thank you, TAP people.
Thank you.
Sorry, later, TAP people.
Take care, Jim.
Oh, thank you.
We've got with our own race, isn't it?
Oh, you know that.
Where you from? I'm from TAP.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But definitely I can connect.
Yeah.
I need a meeting with you guys. Oh, just to get involved and just
Yeah.
you know, vibe. Yeah, let's vibe. Let's vibe.
Oh, nice.
So thank you so much. We're coming up to the last minutes of our show, so I'm going to wind down and I'm going to say goodbye to my YouTube viewers. Massive big up.
It's not my effing in it.
All
Right, see you soon. Have a lovely day. Bye. can sleep without you. I can just can't